Here we go. It's cross-stitching time. It's cross-stitching time. All right. So we're trying all sorts of new stuff here. We have new screen layout, new camera placement. We have a playlist here, and we have a chat over here. So let's get to cross-stitching, shall we? One of these days I'm going to get this all figured out and we're going to be ready to go. Maybe it's today. I doubt it. So we are working on continuing to stitch this dome. Last time we left off having just essentially outlined the little rectangle below the dome. And so those only have single stitches. So I'll get this up here and show you here. You can see how much more bold like the curved part of the dome is versus the rectangle underneath it. And that's because I've only done the half stitches. So now we are going to go back through and complete the stitches. Give it a little extra boldness, a little extra definition here. So I think as I continue this, I've got been trying to kind of calibrate, layout, camera placement. I think the only thing for sure that I know I'm happy with is audio. I'm pretty confident and happy with the quality of the audio at this point. So that leaves me quite a few other things to continue to hammer out. I know. I think I like this camera here. This one here. This guy. Boop. I like that camera, but I don't necessarily know if I like where it is on the screen. Let me adjust something here. Let's bring this like that. Much better. So I'm looking for feedback on camera or on the location of that video feed. I'm also looking for feedback on, I don't know, I guess size and location of all the video feeds, plus whether showing the playlist in the chat are in any way meaningful at all. And if so, am I showing them in good spots, or are there like these like standard streaming locations? Because dude, I cross stitch, I don't live stream. I mean, typically, but if there are like standard locations where people are used to seeing chats, I think it's, if memory serves, it's down kind of like the right sidebar, right? That's where the chat normally is. I don't know if it freaks people out showing it on the left. Or if there are any streams that are particularly like standard that I can copy. Not the actual, I wouldn't be copying the actual art or anything, but just kind of the overall layout. So now you can see last time I did this, I was big into like trying to stitch from the back. And this time I've just gone straight into my normal muscle memory, which is just flip the hoop back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's what you're seeing here. There's for cross stitching, the front is obviously what people see the most when you're finished, but the back is one of those things where people will say, you can tell how good someone is at cross stitching based on the back, not the front. So a lot of times, like I talked to so many people about this, but I always brag about how clean the back of my cross stitches are. And the best way to do that is to not just blindly poke around back there with the needle, but to actually flip it over and like intentionally position the needle there. So you can see, I mean, the back looks just like the front at this point. I mean, there's a few extra little bits of grossness just because I'm dealing with, capturing the tail of the floss and dealing with that, but it should look pretty darn similar by the time we're done, especially if I'm intentional and careful about it. Now, when we get to little dobs of colors and things, so like if you look at the pattern here, this IHTFP here, this will probably get a little messy. And then these colors, I might come up with a nice, clean way to do the colors, but the IHTFP, especially with the back stitching, is probably going to be a little gross. And then the police car here, I've actually done one of these. Let's see if I have it laying around here. There he is. There we go. So the police car I've done. And so you can see here. What is that shadow? Where am I getting that from? I think that's the phone itself. Well, that's too bad. The camera itself is doing that. So the police car looks pretty darn good from the front. But then on the back, because there are so many individual little blocks of color on it, it gets a little gross on the back. That's not usually a standard level of quality that I prefer. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so here we go. So I've done a bunch of forward slashes, and effectively what I'm doing now is I'm just going back over them with back slashes. And that's completing the stitches. And in this instance, because of just the way it ended up, the back stitches, or the back slashes that I'm stitching, I'm going from the top left to the bottom right, which I guess is kind of how you would draw it, like with a pen or something. But so just kind of looking at this here, I wonder how there's a lot of motion. I'm sorry, looking at not the cross stitch, but like the feed. Looking at the feed, there's a lot of motion kind of crammed into the middle here. I sort of like this location because when I look up at the pattern, at least for my face, it kind of looks like I'm looking up at it on the stream because my webcam is situated near the pattern. But I don't know how I feel about having that little preview or the little side camera, this one here. I feel about having that right above my head. It seems kind of busy in that area. I'm also whacking my watch into the table a bunch. So I'll probably have to take that off or do something about that. I was whacking a few things into the desk the other day just to see what the effects are on the mic, and it's not horrible. You can definitely hear it, but there's enough suspension and things on the mic that it ends up not being a huge deal. Thank God for off-axis mics, because I want to keep the mic. I got enough stuff going on here. Like I've got the top-down camera here, and then I've got this camera here, and then I've got this camera here. So it's like, where's the mic? Because you can't see the mic in any of the videos, and positioning it in such a way that it manages to dodge all of the cameras was a bit of a sneaky trick. But I actually have it. Let's see if we can follow my finger. Right here. I'm poking the mic right now. So I keep it just out of frame. And it's actually, this camera here is just straight above it. So yeah, anyway. When I'm actually on campus doing this in April, people will get to see the whole setup. Kind of the idea here, because I'm live streaming it. Let me back up. So I'll be going and doing kind of a live streaming for a few days at MIT. And so I need the setup to work both to be a reasonably good, like actual online live streaming setup, but then also set up so I can interact with people directly in real life. And so that means, you know, the dual monitors or the 3 monitors in front of you, plus microphone and everything, like it can't all be right in front of my face because I need to be able to see people and directly interact with them. So the space in front of me actually right now sitting at this desk is completely open. There are no monitors. All the cameras and everything are kind of shifted off to the left. And so that's why you have kind of a slight angle on this camera here. It's kind of hitting me from an angle so that I can look straight forward this way and and interact with people if they come up. Now, will people come up? Oh, I'm discovering like the longer and longer I've been graduating because I just had my 10-year reunion uh, last year, which was super fun during COVID. It was basically just a bunch of internet things. But that means I've been graduated from MIT for 10 years now, and I find that my advice or perspective is much more skewed towards the old man side of things. I can still tell stories and whatnot from my time on campus, but technology has advanced a lot since I was on campus, and um, society is totally different now. Plus, during COVID, everything at MIT has changed. So we'll see what it's like. So one thing I want to check is, let me swing this monitor around. I want to see, I don't think my playlist is automatically updating. So let's see here. Yeah, see, it's got to be a way to, I don't know how I do that. So what's happening is it's pointed to a window or a web browser that's minimized. But when it's minimized, which is great because it means I can keep my pattern up on that screen there, and I can keep OBS down here, and then I have another screen off over here. You can kind of see it there. This one I just have rotated around and pointed outwards. It's kind of like a in-person, here's what I'm streaming kind of thing. But I don't know if I can force that Chrome tab to live update or refresh or act like it's live. So that'll be something I look at. Otherwise, the now playing thing is totally useless. The chat, I have every confidence that that's updating and that there's just nobody watching my stream, which is, that's the way things go. Okay. The other trick to this is that I'm stitching black floss on a dark blue canvas. And while in the video that's like super clear and obvious, like it gets kind of tricky to see what I've done and where in real life here. Here we go. I think I got that. Yep. Yep, that'll work. I'm really curious to see when this goes on campus. Like, where do I end up sitting? Does anybody come by? Does it turn into any kind of formal event? It's all just kind of up in the air. Going into uncharted territory here. So one thing to note is that like I am running out of floss here. You can see how short the little tail is. And that's one of the things that makes the back of the cross stitch inherently just less attractive than the front, is because the back is where I capture that tail and kind of hide it away from just kind of loosely flopping around back there. And so you have little parts of stitches instead of nice tidy little vertical lines or horizontal lines, you get like a run with the tail captured. Probably makes no sense as I just describe it, but it makes sense in my head, and that's what's important. So the other, so when I'm actually actively stitching, this camera here is pretty cool, but then when I put this down, you guys get a glimpse into my process in my basement. So as you can see, my process always involves a cup of coffee right here, and then in my basement, like way over there, I got a skee ball machine because these are the types of things that you can buy as a grown up when you want them. Okay, so now I'm listening to 21 Pilots, and that is just not what that's showing. Let's see what I can do about that. Yes. So I wonder if in Chrome, is there a way to force is there a way to force it to update? Hmm. I mean, I guess I could keep it like open, but just kind of oh, that screws things up. Hold on. That fix it? Okay. All right, that's just totally broken now. Things you should not be doing like on a live stream. Oh, now it's over here. Oh my gosh. Oh well. I'll just minimize it and just let it be the wrong song. I'll figure that out. Or I'll get rid of it. Anyone actually care what I'm listening to? I don't know. I'm gonna do this for another 4 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna bail out. Go live my life. All right, gonna leave that like that. Actually, that's a good stopping point. Okay, so you can see, probably can see, how along that bottom edge it's much thicker on the right side, which is where I've been finishing the stitches, and then it will continue to thicken up as it moves to the left. So. Okay, done for now.